What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the vlog. Chilling with Randy today, and we hold it out here. And that burned me. We're checking out on a customer's Accord. Show you guys Randy's beautiful snap-on tool. He says that it's. We got a check engine on it. We're gonna find out what's wrong with this car, and Randy's gonna fix it.
Fuel system too lean, bank one. There's only one bank on this one because it's 4-cylinder.
Okay.
Normally when they're like bank one, bank two, it's like a V6, left and right.
Alright.
Possible causes: several system failures can cause lean conditions. Check other codes first, if any. But there's no other codes.
That's the only one.
Is the problem here. Normally when you have a second code to go with it, it'll give you a clue as to what's going wrong. Like if it's saying lean and it's saying O2 sensor malfunction or something, then you're like, oh, okay, very most likely O2 sensor's bad or something like that. And this one's a little bit of a toughie because it's just saying lean. You get what I'm saying?
So it could be damn anything, or?
Well, here, watch.
How do you troubleshoot that?
Well, the beauty of the Snap-on scanner is that it's pretty much like an all data. It'll give you how the system works and how to troubleshoot it per car. Okay, so like on this one, see, it's saying this code only comes up when the air fuel long-term fuel trim is higher than 19%, and they show you here how they're measuring it, how it reads. 1.19 is plus 19%. Anything 19% and above will make that go off. Every car adjusts fuel trims, meaning it'll add more gas or less gas to the map, to the factory map. Because, you know, different things change. Different fuel grades, elevation, temperature, everything affects your air-fuel ratio, okay? But, you know, from the factory, this is programmed that anything above 90% is not normal.
Okay.
So, you know, here it gives you, on 03 models, the Accords can, there's a hose on the intake breather pipe that breaks off. But this is an 05, and I've already checked that, and it's not that. I've actually checked for any vacuum leaks on there, and it doesn't seem to be. So, yeah, it doesn't seem to be a vacuum leak. Perform lean condition test. I love the scanner because it'll walk you through it.
Yeah, but how much that scanner costs? I mean, you're a mechanic, so this is a good investment.
Test injector system, fuel pressure. Remove evap purge control solenoid and draw vacuum with hand pump on manifold side. Suspect faulty purge control solenoid if it does not hold vacuum. Okay, that's a very good tip. The evap purge control solenoid, what that is the gas tank has to be sealed, okay?
Okay.
But gas expands and contracts, and it actually lets off vapors, you know. And instead of letting those go into the atmosphere, they put into a carbon canister with actual charcoal in it.
Oh, I remember what they were telling about if I wanted to do the J32 swap on the Civic, that I need that charcoal canister to comply for California or something.
So when you turn off your car, right, you know, the fuel pump actually, you know, it levels out the pressure in your tank, right?
Okay.
But when you shut your car off, it'll expand, contract, depending on the temperature outside or whatever. They put those vapors into that carbon canister, so when you start your car up, the evap purge control valve opens up and allows the intake to suck those vapors in and burn them.
Oh.
Okay? But if that thing is bad and it's actually leaking, you can cause a lean condition because you're sucking air through your gas tank. Okay? So that's something I have to check. Here's giving me other sensors, right? What the reading should be. Normal range from 0.5 to 0.7, 1 to 2 volts. With cold engine, car sat overnight. These should be the readings or whatnot. Throttle position sensor, 10% is 0.5 volts, closed throttle. And then 90% is wide open throttle, 4.5 volts. That'll give you a range of, where it should be. It's just giving me all these things because, of what to check. See, right now, we're at 18% plus on the fuel trim. See, it goes 1.18. Ooh. That's the average. Okay. We have a barometer and a map sensor. Key on, engine off. The readings should be that. Definition, the possible causes, right? And why it comes on, right? Then you hit next. It tells you like the immediate, most common reason that these come on. But that's on the 03 models. This is 05. I believe the 03 ones are different engine, maybe. I think they're the 2.3.
Oh,
maybe
I
not.
don't even know.
No, maybe not. Maybe they're not. Might be a K24 as well. Anyways, then you hit next. So, check with local Honda dealer for possible product update. Aftermarket intake systems can cause these codes to come on as well on the super ultra low emissions vehicle. that's the Accord name.
Eco Boost.
Super ultra low. They're really trying to send it home. Anyways, and then it gives you the option of running the lean test. So let's make a little small list here of things we're gonna run down and check. So evap, purge, control, solid line, check, vacuum test. Make sure it's actually closing is the thing.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Now we're gonna write down these values because we're gonna go to live data and see what these, if the values are the same or if we got a bad sensor. So ECT stands for engine coolant temperature. Okay, and we go from 0.5 to 0.7 volts. And then the intake air temp, 1 volt to 2 volts. But that's at a cold start. Car sat overnight, ECT and IAT should be within 1 volt of each other. Okay. Next. TPS, this is pretty simple. This is kind of the same for all cars. Is 0.5 equals 10% open and 4.5 volts equals 90% open. In other words, wide open throttle. Okay. Average air fuel fuel trim adjustment should be about 1, meaning that it's no adjustment. Okay. Anything higher means lean condition. It sets when it reaches 15%. So going to look at the air fuel ratio, AFFB. I don't know what they're abbreviating there. Oh. On engine off, barometer and map sensor. Pressure at sea level should be about 2.9 to 3.1 at sea level. .9, 3.1 volts. Okay. Snap throttle, key on, engine running. Snap throttle map voltage should change. If not, suspect faulty map sensor. Key on, engine running at normalized idle speed. Map should be about 0.9 to 1.1. So, okay. Map at idle. Should be 0.9 volts to 1.1 volts. Okay. If okay, check for vacuum leaks out there. If no vacuum leaks, check engine. Okay. So very last thing we're going to check is valve adjustment. And if that is okay, then we're going to suspect clogged injectors.
And then it says not to clean the injectors or not. You know that one machine that sprays?
That's the only way to actually clean them. What they're saying is
don't use that.
The fuel injector cleaner, the little
gas tank?
Yeah, just a little ball that you put in your gas tank. That really does nothing.
Okay.
Because how is that gonna get the debris out of the injector? You get what I'm saying? All right. So,
What is this?
oh, I saved it. My bad.
What is this?
Now let's go to live data. Get out of these screens here. Okay, so data, no codes. We're to start crossing out everything that we check here. Ooh, we're super high. Super high. Oh my god.
On the fuel or?
On the fuel. 47%.
So that's why he's wasting gas too, he said.
And the average is 20% up. Lambada is 13%. This is the fuel trim.
So would it be a valve?
Valve. It could very well be valve adjustment. The valve adjustment will throw off the valve timing. Okay. But we know that already. We know that we got some lean condition here. Oh, I'm sorry. Barometer voltage. We're at 2.90. Barometer. Okay. Boom. That is good.
So we can cross that out.
So barometer checks out. Okay, so the Engine coolant temperature sensor is not giving us in voltage, it's actually giving us a temperature reading. So that's not going to help us there. That's actually right, you know. A car does run at thermostat temperature, which is 194.
Okay, so we're good on that.
It's giving me a second one, and it's at 125 for some reason. So, okay, let's do this. I'm just going to jot down here ECT 2.
I'll get monetized.
I'm going to just jot this down so we can remember this. There's a second one, and it's definitely not reading at the same temperature. See that?
Oh. How are we going to find that out, though?
What do you mean?
Because that's, you said radiator temperature?
Engine coolant temperature?
Why would it be 2?
A lot of companies put one on, let's say, the radiator,
Yeah.
and then they'll put one on the cylinder head.
Okay.
Because if the cylinder head goes above a certain temperature, it can actually, you can set the computer to turn off the engine so you don't blow a head gasket or melt, or you know, warp the head. More than likely. Intake air temperature is just giving us in, what do you call that, Fahrenheit is not giving us the voltage. That's okay. So we're missing TPS. Oh, map sensor.
Now, is this common for the K24 to have issues like this?
Look at the map sensor. We're supposed to be at 0.9 to 1.1, and look where we're at. 1.39. Oh, that's MAF. I'm sorry. That's not the. That's the mass airflow. That's not the map. This, but it's still off. You see that? We're supposed to be 0.9 to 1.1 at idle, and we're at 1.1, 1.2.
Shit.
So it could very well be the map sensor.
How do you fix the map sensor?
Replace it. All right. So I'm fairly certain that the we don't have to look at the voltage for the temperature sensors, like the intake air temperature and in the coolant, because the Fahrenheit reading they're showing us is normal.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So I don't think we're gonna have to go as far as that. We still yet to look at the TPS. We know that the air fuel ratio is off.
It's off. Okay.
Okay. So neither here nor there. Of course, it's supposed to be 1.0, and it's not. So right now, map sensor is looking like the culprit. Map sensor.
Where's the map sensor located on these cars?
I believe on. Sometimes they put it on the intake manifold, or sometimes they'll put it separate on the firewall with a hose connecting to the intake. But I believe this one's on the throttle body or right behind the throttle body, right on top. Good way to do it is have your live data hooked up to it. Go over there and tap it.
And then you'll see something activate.
And if it changes, it's the map sensor.
Map sensor.
It's
Okay.
not
Hell yeah.
good. You can do that for mass airflow sensors as well. Mount control solenoid. Okay. Ooh, we're getting a lot of misfires here. See that? Oh no, misfire cycle. Never mind. I'm sorry. We have no misfires. Okay, good.
And you can check to see the. So when you say misfires, like the cylinder and what's it called, you can check if one of them a cylinder is bad, basically, or do you still got to do compression tests or?
Well, anything can make you misfire. You know, an injector that isn't spraying enough fuel, a lean condition on any cylinder, multiple things. You know, spark plug is bad, foul.
Can this tool though, like say you're buying a secondhand car, can you use this to read it and then check how good the engine is, like from there, or do you still have to do compression tests, that one test you have for the radiator as well, or can you just hook this up and you can say like, okay, this car is, you know, safe to drive home if you purchase it, or you're gonna need to tow it, or?
Yeah. What really is telling you is the car's computer. If you notice that smog checks now, you don't have to put them on a machine anymore.
No.
Because the computer is so smart that it actually is doing a smog test by measuring all of these sensors and make sure all of these things are, you know, are running right.
Because I know in Vegas they don't even put on like the dyno machine. They just hook it up. They do let the car run and they put the thing in the exhaust pipe still, but it just parks right outside and they'll just either rev it up and that's it.
The throttle position sensor seems to be right. Although it didn't read that time, huh? I'm afraid to redline this car here, but it does seem to be reading. Oh, okay, he has a rev limiter. Okay, and it did go up to 4.5 volts. So
that's good.
When
then.
I'm not pressing it, half a volt, right? It's 0.49. That's pretty close to a half a volt. And then when I go wide open throttle, it does give me the 4.5.
Okay, so you did that.
So throttle position sensor is working perfectly. Oh, the VTEC, oh no, dude. VTEC status.
Oh.
Well, when I redlined it there, it did turn on.
Okay.
All right, so what we can conclude here, we still have to check this, okay? The evap purge control valve, okay? None of these sensors seem to be the culprit, except the map sensor, okay? So none of these, what it comes down to is map sensor or evap purge control valve. And I say that because we are getting a funky reading from the map sensor.
Yeah.
But a vacuum leak will change the reading of the map sensor too, though.
So there could be a vacuum leak?
It could be a vacuum leak. I've tried to find one externally, and it doesn't seem to be one. So it could be that evap purge control valve. Purge control solenoid. Well, this bad, look. Very high readings. We're at 20% average.
And that one's supposed to be the 18 one?
That one's supposed to be at 1.
1? Oh, damn.
1, not 20% up. Alright. Matter of fact, I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to be the evap. But if it ends up not being the evap purge control valve, it's more than likely going to be the valve adjustment. Alright, so let's take this car for a little test drive and see if we have any changes in our air-fuel ratio mix here. For the evap purge control valve, we can simply pinch off the line or block it off, disconnect it, and cap it, whatever. And if the readings go back to normal, we know that it's the evap purge control valve that's leaking. If we have no change whatsoever, then we can suspect the map sensor.
Alright, so that's part 1 of the video. This actually might be like a 3-part. Sorry for being long, but I wanted to give you guys the raw footage of troubleshooting a car. And like I said, I'm not a mechanic. I don't claim to be a mechanic. I just can do the basic things. I would be basically what Randy from Eliminate, and Auto Up would be Luke. So yeah, so that's why I'm happy to be able to do videos with Randy, because he's able to he's a real mechanic. So I'm learning, and I'm hopefully by making these videos you guys are learning as well. So yeah, like I said, part 1, it is very long. I'm still editing part 2 as we speak, and so basically it might be like 3 parts. But yeah, so at least you guys can see that what it takes for a mechanic to troubleshoot everything and break it down, and then have to go through everything that they troubleshoot to get to that one thing or whatever it could be that needs to be fixed. So yeah, so if you guys made it this far watching it, I really appreciate it. Leave a comment, like, it does help me. Also subscribe so I can start getting some funds to build a race car. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in part 2. Thanks for watching.